Good evening and welcome to it. This is the Private Property Podcast, where we provide you with valuable knowledge and information on all things property related. Whether you are a first-time home buyer, you're a seasoned investor, or you're just looking for some expert advice, we have got you covered. All you have to do is tune in every Tuesday and every Thursday at 7 p.m. for tips, insights, and expert advice on all burning topics that are related to property, because this podcast is brought to you proudly by Private Property. Remember, you can find your new home on privateproperty.co.za. On tonight's episode, we'll be talking about the importance of home inspections and why you need an expert to inspect the property before you sign an offer to purchase. Joining me in studio to unpack this interesting topic is Divan Du Preez, the owner and founder of Veldhuizen and Sons Home Inspection Services. But before we dive into the conversation, please remember to comment below and share your thoughts with us about today's show. You can join the conversation by using the hashtag find your new home on privateproperty.co.za and hashtag the Private Property Podcast on all social media. We'll be keeping an eye out for all of your posts, and we may even feature some of your comments and your questions on the show. Because this is the Private Property Podcast, where we provide you with absolutely every piece of information that you need to do with all things property. Like I said before, today I'm not alone in studio. I'm joined by Divan, who is the boss, the notorious expert. It's his billion, it's his thing, it's what he does. He does home inspections. How are you?
Hey, Sibs, I'm doing wonderfully well. How are you?
I'm good. You look amazing. 2023 is looking great on you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just been such a wonderfully hectic time on our side, so I thought I would come here and just sit down and have a wonderful conversation.
Yeah, spruce it up, because I imagine you don't do home inspections looking this dapper.
Well, it depends, sometimes we do get those properties that are 20 million rand plus,
Oh, and you're like, I can just wear my suit.
Yeah, that's it. Just show up there with a tie and everything, and your car has to be spotless. Just keep our cars to be spotless. Yes, Sibs.
Just so they know you're the real deal.
Yes, ma'am.
But of course, we know that you're the real deal.
Thank you.
And we're just going to jump straight into it. I watch a lot of HGTV and sort of home shows, reno shows, in places like the US and the UK and across the world. Home inspection is a very big deal. It is often that you cannot move in terms of renovating a property, buying a property, let alone putting in an offer to purchase, before someone has come in and inspected the place fully and told you exactly all the things that you need to know about that property. Do we have the same sort of culture of inspection in South Africa? And if not, why do you think that is?
Oh, unfortunately, we still don't have that kind of culture here in South Africa. Unfortunately, that's something that's lacking in our terms, because when it comes to inspections in America, it's a legal requirement. But here, it's still not a legal requirement. And that's an uphill struggle that we are fighting with. So one of the biggest things that we are doing at Veldhuizen and Sons is training people and educating them and talking to them about the good and the bad when it comes to inspections, because like I was last time here, there's good stories and there's bad stories in everything that we do. But I believe one of the biggest things that's an obstacle for Veldhuizen and Sons, for any home inspection company, is education. People are still scared about us, and why we do what we do, and are you going to come into my closets and throw everything out of it? No, we're not going to do that.
Are you in cahoots with anyone else? Are you coming to view my property so that what's in it for you kind of thing?
Yeah, that's exactly the mentality that we do unfortunately still get, as you're in cahoots with the agent, you're in cahoots with this guy, you're in cahoots with all these contractors. No, we're not. We're third party and unbiased. We're just there to help you make a more informed decision, a safeguard.
Divan, why do you do what you do?
Oh man, it's in my blood. I don't know how else to explain it. It's in my blood. This is my second decade that I'm in construction. But to be brutally honest, I started out when I was 3 years old. My grandfather was Paul Veldhuizen. He was a carpenter and joiner, and when I was 3 years old, I would go to job sites with him, eat up his sandwiches and fall asleep in his truck, It's in my blood. It's part of who we are, you know. But the biggest thing for me and for my grandfather as well, you know, was the saying that he always had was to be there, to help as many people as you can for as long as you can. And we've got all these years of knowledge behind us, and we get to help people. What's better than that?
There's absolutely nothing better than that. I know there's this general mistrust, you know, around home inspections. Is it really necessary? I read a quote the other day that reminded me exactly of you. Actually, it said, pay an amateur to do something and you'll pay the cost like much later, which is such a testament to sort of the home inspection business, specifically what you do, because you crawl into the nooks and the crannies and the crevices of every home. Your eyes can see things that someone else's eyes cannot see, and warn them beforehand that, listen, you think this is a great deal for you, but actually at the end of the day, you're going to be in a lot more trouble than you can foresee.
Yes, that's exactly what it is that we do. You know, we take a look at the small nooks and crannies of things, you know, but Sebs, I'm going to use you as an example, you know. All right, so you just told us that we are experts, and thank you for that. Yes, we are experts in this. But you go out to review a property now, Sebs. You get there. You're excited. I
love it.
You love it.
It's got a hot tub.
That's exactly it. You know, you walking. We internally call it the measurement visit. This is your second time visiting this property, and you're walking in there with a measuring tape, you know, and you're going, oh wow, this is fantastic.
Can
you know,
my couch fit in this area?
Yes, I can do that. The family heirloom can stand in this corner.
The television that I just bought.
That's exactly it, you know, and you're there for about 50 minutes. If you're lucky, you're there for 50 minutes. And you kind of miss small little details that there are because you're not looking at these things. And that's where we come in. That's where we go and, all right, well, this is what you really need to know, you know, and we will climb onto roofs or in nooks and crannies. And if there's a small little problem, you know, it's not a latent defect yet. It's still a patent defect, but we know you guys don't really climb into that or climb on top of that.
Nor do we know the words latent and patent.
No. It's just, so we will mention those
things. We know deposit and fees.
Well, that's the biggest thing right there. You know, we walk that journey with you guys, you know, going, okay, well, it is a small little problem now. You know, if we fix it now, it's not going to be that bad. You know? So that's exactly what we do. You know, we help you to make a more informed decision.
I find the work that you do is filled with a lot of integrity because it's about maintaining the integrity of a structure and seeing where there is a lack and informing the correct people about that lack so that it can be rectified. Are there a lot of people perhaps, because I'm sure you rub people up the wrong way, right? And they go, no, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just trying to scare you. Do you get a lot of that in your business?
Unfortunately, I do, you know, but it's usually not from the purchaser or the seller. Where we get that from is if there is a defect, if there's a big problem. This is one of the biggest things that we are dealing with right now is cases such as these, you know, where there are big defects. Where we get that from is from the other inspector that people get in. That's where we get flack from, you know. It's like, listen, we don't know what this guy's talking about. Everything is fine, you know. It's like, okay, well, if you guys say so, you know, then it probably should be like that way, but come back with us. Come back with us. Let me show you what it is. And they go, oh, wait a minute. Okay, this is as bad as you say it is. We see what you're talking about right now, you know. But there's also the other side of it, you know, where we will find something and they will get another inspector, and the inspector actually said, well, this is the problems. You guys have to fix it. You don't have a choice. You know, you have to fix it. Everything is here with pictures and with words, you know, so.
Are there certain things that, I mean, you've been doing this since you were 3 years old.
Yeah.
And not everyone obviously is going to hire you. There are people who are overseas watching this right now and they'll go to different home inspectors. And like you're saying, there are other home inspectors who come in and they can't see the things that you've seen. As you know, your 3-year-old eyes have been seeing throughout your entire life.
Yes.
So are there things that do fall through the cracks? And now you're sort of sitting in this home and you're thinking, but I got a home inspector. I got someone to come in and tell me what was going on with this place. And now these things are coming up. Does that happen?
It is astronomically impossible for it to happen at Veldhuizen Sons, to be honest. Because when you hire a Veldhuizen Sons inspector, you're not just hiring one guy. You're hiring an entire family.
You're hiring a generation
of knowledge because it's not just me. You know, we've got inspectors all over South Africa, and each one of them is qualified in different little areas. You know, one guy did plumbing, the other guy did electrical, whatever it may be. And if there is a problem, you know, we got guys that are part of the Veldhuizen Sons family. We can go and say, listen, we did find this, what do you think as well? So the chances that we will miss something is very, very low, So we do get those guys that come in from overseas, they love what we do because we did the international qualifications as well. So we know what it is that they need to know as well, So the chances that we miss something, knock on wood somewhere, it's very, very low, because it's not just one, it's an entire family that you're hiring. So, yeah.
Do you so you would have to go in physically? Yeah. Obviously, it's the best. It's the best way to do it, to just go and see and touch and feel.
Yes.
Is there an option where, because a lot of people are doing virtual sort of home inspections, virtual looking at a place and deciding whether or not to buy it. Maybe you're too far away from the property and you don't live in that area yet, so you can't see it.
We love to travel, so don't worry about the distance at all. We love to travel. It doesn't matter where it is. We go there, and it has to be in person, because like you just said, if you send me through a picture of a crack, that's just a picture of a crack. I need to know, where is that crack coming from? Is it from the foundations? Is it coming from the roof? Is it just a superficial crack? Is it there's something deeper into it? I need to see it. I need to touch it. I need to know what it is that we are dealing with. So the best way is going in there, do the inspection, but that also works wonderfully with the virtual that you just mentioned as well, because most people do sit behind a laptop and they go, oh, this property is amazing, and then all of a sudden you got the Veldhuizen Sons logo right next to your listing, and you can click and go, oh, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought, this is wonderful. So that helps with that aspect as well.
What is the cost now that's involved when it comes to this?
Oh, I always love this question.
Because if I'm all the way in Quebec and I'm like, Divan, I need you to come through or send someone because I'm looking to buy this R1 million house or this 200,000 rand apartment because it's all I have.
Yeah.
And I don't want to throw my money away. What kind of cost am I looking at?
It all depends on the property, to be honest. Our pricing structure starts at 1,500 rand, I believe. That's where our pricing structure starts.
And you mustn't believe, Divan, you must know what your pricing structure is.
To be honest, there's certain things that we are working with within Veldhuizen Sons, and once we are ready to launch this, it is going to change everything. We lovingly call it the insurance and trenches package. That's what we're loving. So very excited about that. I can't wait to launch that, but coming back to your question, okay, if you're in Quebec or wherever it may be, we can assist. It depends on the size of the property. It depends on where the property is. But our cost is also worked out in such a manner that everybody can afford it. Everybody can afford it, not just the people that are going in to purchase 14 million rand properties. It has to work for the person that's going to buy a 2,000, 100,000 rand property or a million rand home. It has to work out for everybody. And that's the thing that changes Veldhuizen Sons from all our competitors out there, is our unique consumer experience.
I would expect that there would be a lot of sort of pushback from that end. If someone doesn't know what something costs and you tell them they need it, but there's already so many other hidden costs that are going into purchasing a home, finding a home, then finding the home, then redoing this and redoing that. And then you tell me, oh, you also need to get an inspector. I'm thinking, oh, it's going to cost me another 20 million trillion gazillion bucks. I can't afford that.
No, it doesn't work with us like that at all, to be honest, at all. We are there to help you make a more informed decision. That's the biggest thing for us.
Starting from 1,500 rand a month.
Yes.
Not a month, but once off.
Yeah, well, that's what that insurance and trenches package is all about. It's a subscription fee to help everybody in the end. You take the cost of inspection, you make it part of the cost of sales. So we get in there, we do the pre-listing inspection. In the end, your money does come back to you. The sell of the property is no longer on the market for 97 rand, it's now on the market for 100 rand kind of thing, So that's what we are working with and working in, because we don't want people to get scared of the price, because that's a very big sticking point as well. And the way I always like to market this as well, is okay, home inspection is not mandatory right now. There is going to come a point where it is going to become that.
Hopefully soon.
I hope really, really soon, because 96% of our cases are still after the fact. So oh no, that's not good at all. It's not good at all. But the way I like to market is home inspection and our cost fees, and I have a lovely conversation is, listen here, if you go to a doctor and he tells you need to get a vitamin C shot, that's going to suck. Nobody likes that. But if you go to a pharmacy and you get a vitamin C sachet, and you take that voluntarily, that's just so much better for everybody, So that's exactly the same way with our pricing structure and how it is that we do what we do. Just We want to be able to help people.
And I hear you saying, you know, there's a difficulty about it not being mandatory yet. But I actually had an interview with a property practitioner a few weeks ago who had mentioned to me that there's a new law coming in about foot stewards properties. That now property practitioners are actually legally required to list all of the defects in a home before someone is able to put in an offer to purchase. So that's a step in the right direction in terms of now making it mandatory for home inspections to happen.
Oh yes, no, most certainly, absolutely yes. You know, because if you look at a real estate agent, they studied marketing and sales and all those lovely things. Now, if you come to me,
they say nice words, you pretty words. Oh, look at the sun coming from the east. And
yes, it's all those lovely things, you know, and that's what they know how to do. And I'm the building inspector, you know, don't ask me to sell a property. So I know enough to get myself into trouble. That's about how far it is I can go, you know.
But you also know enough to get me out of trouble.
I know enough to get you out of trouble, you know. That's where our inspection's completely different from everything else, you know, because the real estate agent, he doesn't know how to climb onto a roof, you know. Actually, side little story here, I love the training side of things. So I go out with agents to properties and I show them what's going on.
You say, climb this ladder.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I told this guy, climb this ladder, it's going to be fun. And halfway up the ladder, he told me, listen, there's a reason why I get you out to come and do the inspection. It's like, well, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, I'm afraid of heights. It's like, get off the ladder then. It's like, no, I'm too high up already, you know. So that's where working together is going to be so amazing, you know, because I will take this part of it, you guys take that part of it, and then you can really tell me that this property is family friendly, move-in ready, because it's not just the Property Practitioners Act and things moving in that direction, you know. Now all of a sudden it is the Consumer Protection Act that's there as well, you know, where you become the vendor. That's happening as well. And mentioning that food stewards, well, there's actually that 427 case, 127,000 Rand case that came and went, you know, and there's more of them coming out, you know, more of them, and we are working on a few of them as well, you know, where the guy stood there, it's like, no, but they told me food stewards, and the judge told them, no way. You need to tell me everything that is wrong. Absolutely everything that is wrong with this property, you know. And like, I'm going to go back to that measurement thing that I spoke to you about. You know, that's exactly what I'm talking about there. You know, you walk in there with star-spangled eyes. You know, this is my property. This is what I need. We will mention things like, okay, what's the sidewalk? You know, as it shifted, you know, what's the condition of the roof? You know, what's the condition of the roof trusses, the wiring, the geysers, all those lovely things.
The ground, like, is it on some kind of waterbed? Are you going to get a shift in the house in a few years' time? Is it on a fault line? And if there's an earthquake, your house is gone.
Yeah, especially in Centurion, to be honest. There's just sinkholes. Oh, lovely sinkholes there. Yeah, we have to mention those things because that's one thing that you're not taking a look at or noticing.
How am I supposed to know, Divan, that there's a sinkhole in Centurion?
Yeah, Centurion is a lovely area. yeah, just lovely.
No shade against Centurion.
No, not at all.
Just watch out for the occasional sinkhole.
Yes, a little bit, yes. That's what I'm talking about, Sibs. And it goes deeper than that. You know, if I can continue on here now, you know, you got me on a roll here. Go for it. So the other side, why we will mention things that are obvious. You know, we actually spoke to an agent about this. The reason why we would mention things that are obvious, like you can see the sidewalk, you can see the foundation, you can see those little things, not on top of the roof. You know, that's one thing people don't really think. But the reason why we mention things like loose door handles, sidewalks, whatever it may be, is because star-spangled eyes. You don't see those things. So that's where the safeguarding aspect then comes in. It's because if you now bought the property, all of a sudden what's wrong with the sidewalk? Why didn't you tell me? Yeah, we did. This protects the agent, this protects the seller, and it protects you as well.
Listen, before I let you go, first-time home buyers, you've been in this industry for a very long time. I'm sure you see a lot of people who are also seasoned investors. This is not their first rodeo. They know what to look for. They know to call you. They know to trust you and to take your recommendations as a very serious thing. First-time home buyers do not have as much knowledge behind them. Obviously, all they have is the little savings pot that they've put together to be able to come with their star-spangled eyes to find this dream property that they've always wanted. What are you saying to those people?
I would say that you have enough on your plate as it is. You know, it's not just the one little thing, it's my little money, it's Star Spangled Eyes. My biggest advice to them is get a Veldhuizen and Sons inspector to come in and take a look. Because we are on that journey with you. We will tell you, hey, everything is going to be okay. Yes, there's a problem. It's not as bad as you think. It might look like a horror movie, but we're behind the scenes. It's just latex and paint. That's all it is. Just latex and paint. My biggest advice to them is get a home inspector to help you. That's the best advice that I can give them.
I love that advice, and that is where we will leave it. Listen, we know right now it is not mandatory as per law, but the best advice that we could give you today, and just as the Private Property Podcast in general, you're buying your first home, get a home inspector. You're buying your second home, get a home inspector. You're buying any kind of property, get an inspector. It'll save you in the long run.
Yes, most certainly.
And call Veldhuizen Sons. Thank you so much for coming back, and I look forward to seeing you again when you launch your new product.
Yes, it's going to be so good. I can't wait to bring it. It's just the insurance and trenches. I love it.
I'm very excited to hear more about that. So we will see you in the future. Otherwise, that's it. And that is me for today. I'm Sibs Malaba Matiela. I will see you on the very next episode of the Private Property Podcast. Have a wonderful evening.